you feel the power of digital. Now you feel the power of you feel the power of digital.
Hold on. Here we go. Going for the ride. It's Monday, December 3rd.
How you feel the power of
22 days till Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yes, we can say that without being ashamed now. Not happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah too. Hanukkah and Christmas together again. God bless America. I love this Judeo-Christian country, baby. Oh yeah, what can I say?
Now you feel the power of...
It's time for the Jesse T Show, live right here on Monday through Friday on KTNT Radio and TV Network, the Power of Voices, our platform that we broadcast from. Good to have you along with me on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, out on YouTube, Jesse Terrero, as well as Instagram Live at Jesse Terrero, and a little bit later on Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Pinterest, and so many more, like over 25 now on AM and FM stations, taking our downline digital feed, baby. I love it. Thank you on the global radio market of DSAW Media, the Power of Voices. You got the power one here, man. My name is Jesse T, sometimes known as Jesse Torero if you're from Spain, or Jesse Torero if you're from Italy, or Jesse Terrero if you're from America. However you say it, it's Jesse T. You and me and the Brown Beauty is back on duty from here to you, and of course on there and everywhere, from the community to the world. Good to have you along with me. I had a great weekend. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I crashed my car yesterday. That's what I did. The gray ghost is now the dead ghost. How dare LA County? How dare they not put roads and extend roads long enough for Jesse T to drive on them? I'm coming to the end of this street called M Avenue, and I pass up 50th Street, and the road didn't continue on M Avenue. It just hit a dirt embankment and out in the middle of the desert. Now, what kind of silliness is that? I am going to hire one of you lawyer friends of mine out there. We are going to sue the County of Los Angeles. How dare they stop the street when they knew me, Jesse T, was rolling, baby. That street should keep going. Well, the reason why is what happened. I have to cop to the truth because, hey, you know, what can I tell you? You know, I say it like it is. That's me. Can't help but be me, Jesse T. My daughter is in a certain part of the world right now, and I took an oath of secrecy that I can't talk about that too much. But anyway, I will tell you this. She is being looked at very favorably for a very important athletic position in one of the top teams on God's blue-green earth, okay? In soccer. Now, that's all I can say. Now, so I figured I better start learning the language where she's at. So, you know, I've studied Spanish. Yes, I have a Spanish-Italian surname. Yeah, I know, it is. But, you know, the Caucasian comes in from my Scot-Irish mother. Yes, God bless her soul. Yes, so you get this kind of American mix right here. Yeah, the Pythons, baby. The Pythons. Hey, by the way, we're going to have an interview with John Cena. I'm going to wave the Pythons on him. And so I've studied Spanish for a long time. I studied it in middle school for 3 years. I studied it in high school for 3 years. I studied it in college for 4 years. I studied it outside of college for a couple of years. So that's 3 and 3 is 6 and 4 is 10, 12 years of Spanish speaking studies. And can I speak Spanish? ¿Cómo se llama usted? Me llamo Jesús Torero. I speak Spanish about as well as I sing. So, but you drop me in the dead of night, like a ninja warrior fighter and a black ops specialist into a Spanish-speaking country, and within a week, I'm speaking at least high school Spanish. I just really never had to use it here in America, but, you know, wow, did I make a mistake, huh? If you don't speak Spanish today, you are not going to get employed. Young people, listen to me. Jesse T is here to help you get employed because Jesse T eventually wants you to look me up at www. That's right, WinWinWinInc at yahoo.com because I am a real estate broker for over 40 years here in Southern California and a loan specialist and, of course, a notary public. And that entity right there does sponsor the Jesse T Show. So look us up at 1-800-684-8699. Or you can go to the website at www.buyjesset.com. You can buy me, baby. www.sellerjesset.com. You can sell me, baby. www.mrsold, that's me, jesset.com or facebook.com/Jesse Torero Broker. So I want you young people to earn a lot of money, learn Spanish, reading, writing, abstract thinking fluently like it's English and Spanish. You got to do that, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to be at a loss to get a gig, okay? Because when you learn Spanish, then you can learn Italian, you can learn French, you can learn all the Romance languages. Well, last night I was being romantically coerced, hypnotized by my teacher in The Gray Ghost with Jesse T. My female teacher was speaking eloquent Spanish to me. Buenas noches. And then I would copy. Buenas noches. Buenas tardes. And then I would copy. Buenas tardes. Yes, muy bien. And I would copy, muy bien, right? Oh, yes, my lovely female teacher was mesmerizing me. Oh, and she hypnotized me with her love, baby. That's right. So I'm popping along at about 60 miles an hour on the way back to the Jesse T compound in an undistinguished location that I cannot tell you about. And I'm driving down the freeway of love, baby. The highway of love. And, well, yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening to my teacher. And I love my teacher. I have no idea what she looks like, but she sure sounds pretty. But you don't want to do that, okay? I'm here to tell you, being a radio personality for all these years, don't ever believe what they sound like. Oh, could I tell some stories? Well, I'm going to be telling those stories in a book I'm writing about my entertainment career. But you never want to ever think that your person you're listening to sounds or looks what they sound like. Okay? Saying hi to Deshaun, saying hi to, wait a minute, is that Mike Wagner? Hey, Mike Wagner. Merry Christmas, Mike Wagner. I wonder if is that the Mike Wagner, the Wags that hired me at KISS and allowed me to get my feet in over there? I hope so. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? Dominique, hey, we got the D-Train, Dominique Craig checking in. And got to say hi to David Smith and Neil and Dale Board, baby. Dale Bird is checking in. There we go. So anyway, I'm rolling down the highways of love. Liana Gregorian is checking in too. I like that name. Gregorian. I'm rolling down the highways of love last night, learning Spanish from the, it's called the Pimsleur method. Yes. I am learning it by CD. So I got it in my car, right? And I'm just mesmerized by this language. It's so romantic. So I have to learn this language, and because if I don't learn this language, what's going to happen is I'm not going to be able to speak the proper language when I go to wherever I got to go. And as I'm driving down the freeway or the highway about 60 miles an hour, the LA County did not extend the road long enough for me to continue my education. And yes, what can I tell you? I was hypnotized by her love. That's right. I was hypnotized. Oh, my Spanish teacher hypnotized me, baby. Sing it, Linda.
You got me hypnotized.
Karaoke style. Sound like a woman.
Was just one little love. Into your eyes. I'll do whatever you say.
Sing it, baby, sing it. Oh, that magic spell was working on me last night while I was driving down a dark, long, washed road on the way to the Jesse T compound, learning Spanish from my Spanish female teacher on the Pimsleur method. Oh, you just got me. So it was Linda Jones's fault, my Spanish teacher's fault, LA County's fault for not extending the road long enough for me to finish my lesson, and I was hypnotized with my eyes open, and I blew through a stop sign. I didn't hit the stop sign, but I blew through an intersection. No cars were there, and I realized, oh my goodness, I am going to go out in the middle of the desert. And that's exactly what I did. I hit a little dip, and dip, dip, and the gray ghost did a little jump into a big pile of sandy dirt. Now the gray ghost was the dusty ghost. Yes, and it was her fault. Linda Jones, LA County, and my teacher speaking to me on my Pimsleur Method CD learning Spanish. They got me hypnotized with eyes wide open. They weren't wide shut. They were wide open. My goodness. So I crashed the gray ghost. And now the gray ghost is gone to the car heaven in the sky to meet all the other cars I crashed in my lifetime. I think I probably have more cars stacked up in the far distant corner of the car heaven junkyard, and God is kind of just stacking them up for me over the years since I've been driving since I was 14. Yes, I've been driving since I was 13, actually. So, there it is. So I'm driving Gray Ghost 2 right now. So I got to get another car. Thank goodness I got more than one car. Anyhow, I tell you about all this because I thought it was quite entertaining. And now that we got the Jesse T Show started, of course, President George H.W. Bush, our 41st president, died over the weekend, and all the accolades have gone out. Now, you see me post up on my website, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. You see me post up, say, hey, what's happening, Jay? You see me post up my feelings about George H.W. Bush, and I'll tell you my feelings here in a second about George H.W. Bush and what I feel about him. But I want to talk about something that's called the ancient history of the black nobility of Europe. Now, it has nothing to do with the pigmentation of your skin. Okay, so for all my black folk brothers and sisters, and my brown folk brothers and sisters, and my green folk brothers and sisters, and my purple folk brothers and sisters, I just got to make sure I cover the rainbow of colors. And the pigments of your skin don't mean anything when we talk about the black nobility of the history of Europe. So I'm going to go over some information here, and bear with me now. It's going to be a little bit arduous, but I think you're going to find it very interesting because it has some relationship to George H.W. Bush. But first I'm going to say this in an article that was posted just on Facebook today. George H.W. Bush was born into exceptional wealth. And here's what we know about the fortune he's leaving. Okay? The 43rd president, George W. Bush, died, of course, in just over the weekend. And he was 94 years old. Now, he just passed away a few months after his wife did, about 8-9 months ago. And one of the things about his magnificent wealth, it is what's called, and this is a statement that I gleaned out of this article that I thought was really interesting. It's about the third article down. I'm not going to read about this. We kind of talked about that already. But it says, the Bushes are the epitome of old money. They're not Johnny-come-lately money. Okay? Their wealth stretches back generations. They're very wealthy and rich and elite, but not flashy. Okay? Now, remember that. Their wealth dates back generation. Not one generation, but generations. Old money. Now, you do recall the speech when President Bush, H.W. Bush, talked about the New World Order. And then for the rest of his presidency, he shoved that down our throats. The New World Order, the New World Order, the New World Order, right? Okay. So let me read you something about the black nobility of Europe. You're going to find this very interesting. And at the end of today's show, I'm going to tie it all together, okay? So bear with me, because we're stretching back some time now into history. A history that is not taught to you in college, in high school, or anywhere else, because it's a history that has been shoved under the covers and only remembered by those that affects and are part of it. But for all the rest of the eons and peons of the world, like you and me, we don't learn about this history unless we really get inspired to go doing some heavy-duty research and digging up, or something happens and you just kind of get interested in it, okay? But I've been studying this kind of stuff since I was 16 years old. All right? In Carthage, the Canaanites called themselves Punics. Okay? Carthage is during Roman times. Okay? Rome attacked Carthage in full force beginning in 264 BC. I told you, we're going back a long time. And completed their task after killing or enslaving every Carthaginian by sowing the land, which means they salted the land so that nothing could ever grow there again. Now, Carthage is basically where Libya is today, okay? Tripoli, Libya, that area, okay? The Edomites descended from Esau, later intermarried with the Turks to produce a Turco-Edomite mixture, which later became known as the Khazars. The Tsars, the Khazars. You following me now? They're Russian, okay? Who are the present occupants of Russia and also of Israel. Okay? These Canaanites eventually adopted the name, and it's going to be, some of these names are going to be a little difficult for me, but I'm going to bear with me, Sepharvaim, for deceptive purposes. They later became known as Venetians. Now we know who those are. And by marrying into European royalty and aristocracy, the black nobility. The Venetians today control the Federal Reserve System of the United States of America and every European and world centralized bank. Around AD 1400, that's about 1400 years after the death of Jesus Christ, European power centers coalesced into two camps. One was the Hibellinis, I think I got that right, I may have got it wrong, who supported the Emperor's Hohenstaufen family in Germany. The other one were the Guelphs from Welf. He was also German, the German prince who competed with Frederick for control of the whole Holy Roman Empire. This was at the end of the Holy Empire and the beginning of the Dark Ages. Kind of right dab out in the middle, okay? The Pope allied himself with the Guelphs. All modern history stems directly from the struggle between these two powers. Saying hi to Annabella and saying hi to Masamura Sakura, and I'm tagging out Martin Gigi. All right, hey Martin, what's happening, buddy? The Guelphs are also called the Neri, or the Black Guelphs, or Black Nobility, and supported William of Orange in his seizure of the throne of England, which eventually resulted in the formation of the Bank of England and the East India Company. This is important, which would rule the world from the 17th century to present. See, this is a history that you're not privy to. That they don't want you to know. There's a lot of reasons for that. because this is the true history. This isn't this fabricated history that we've been taught in our religious centers and our schools. Okay? All coup d'etats, revolutions, and wars in the 19th and 20th centuries are centered in the battle of the Gulfs to hold and enhance their power, which is now called the New World Order. See, there's a struggle going on at the top end of the feeding chain. This triangle, this Illuminati, this trilateral commission, this global elitist, this one world order people at the top. The power of the Gulfs would extend through the Italian financial centers to the north of France. In Lombardy, all Italian bankers were referred to as Lombards. Dan Bam Bam Stell is checking in. Thanks a lot, buddy. Lombard in German means deposit bank. Okay? And the Lombards were bankers to the entire medieval world, including the Vatican. Prior to the Rothschild financial Jewish banking dynasty. Okay? John Pavlenko is on. Hey, John, what's happening? Okay, now, they would later transfer operations to Hamburg, then to Amsterdam, and finally to London. That's why London, the city of London, is so very important and prominent in the history of the world as we know it. Because all wealth and financial entities were transferred to London. Okay? The historian George Grote, a founder of London University, donated £6,000 for the study of mental health, which began the World Mental Health Movement. Okay? This is important. You got to remember that one. Banks, large and small, in the thousands, are in the Committee of 300 network, including every single bank, centralized, organized banking system in the world, except now, after all the Persian Gulf fighting and all the Iraqi and desert fighting over there, except Iran and North Korea. And North Korea is going to be part of it very soon. Why do you think we went there? For oil? Of special interest is Banca de Suizeria Italiana, BSI, since it handles flight capital investments to and from the United States, primarily in dollars and U.S. bonds, located and isolated in neutral Lugano, the flight capital center for the Venetian black nobility. Venetian, Italian, Venetian, French, Venetian, Italian, Roman, Italian, Rome, Vatican. Lugano is not only in Italy or in Switzerland, and it's in both those areas, and is kind of, these are twilight zone areas for shady flight capital operations. George Ball, who owns a large block of stock in BSI, is a prominent insider and the bank's U.S. representative. In the secret 1822 Treaty of Verona between Austria, France, Prussia, and Russia, the Jesuits, the Vatican, the Jesuits. Guys, this is the stuff I talk about all the time. If you follow the Jesse T Show when I get on these topics. The Jesuits, perhaps probably the most evil organization ever created by mankind, in the Dark Pope at the Council of Trent in 1541 to overturn and overthrow the Protestant Reformation. And if not for the Protestant Reformation and Martin Luther taking effect, America would not be a Judeo-Christian nation. It would be a Catholic nation controlled by the Vatican and the Jesuits and the Dark Pope. And it already is now anyhow. because they seeped themselves back into us hundreds of years ago. But the first 100 years of America, we were free of them. And there was a reason for that, but that's for another topic. Okay, the Jesuits agreed to smash the U.S. Constitution and suppress the freedom of the U.S. at the Treaty of Verona in 1822. Smash the U.S. Constitution and suppress the freedom of the U.S. Their methods included destroying free speech. Follow me, guys. Just follow me. Please, just follow me. Because open your eyes wide. Don't be me like me last night. Hypnotized. Driving down a dark road. Listening to my sexy Spanish teacher on CD, the Pilsner method. With my eyes wide open. But not seeing anything. Hypnotized. Don't be hypnotized. Hey, man. Come on. You know I tie everything together in my show. Okay? Check this out. The Jesuits agreed in 1822 at the Treaty of Verona. Verona, baby. Austria, France, Prussia, and Russia, and the Jesuits, because communism and Nazism was started by the Jesuits. Did you know that? That Stalin was educated in a Jesuit monastery, and so was Hitler? Isn't that interesting? Gee whiz. They agreed to smash the U.S. Constitution and suppress the freedom of the U.S. Their methods included destroying free speech, destroying and suppressing the press, universal censorship, sustaining the cooperation of the Pope and the clergy to use religion to help keep nations in passive obedience, and the financial wars against countries with representative governments. Oh my Lord, Barry Burnett. Barry's a great real estate broker. He's one of my gurus. I love him. He's been at this business probably 5 to 10 years longer than me. And I've been doing it for 42 years. Barry, we're getting old. But we're still staying handsome, brother. The monarchs, understand this. The monarchs who signed this treaty were ultimately deposed. They were thrown out. That's what World War I was about. That's what the French Revolution was about. Getting rid of the monarchy system in Europe. Most of these families are very wealthy and may be more powerful today than they were at that time when they sat on their thrones. They are known collectively as the black nobility of Europe. Privately, these families refuse to recognize any right to rule except their own. The fact that this treaty was made long ago does not mean it is void. The treaty was placed in the Congressional Record on April 25th in 1916 by Senator Owen. Go look it up, it's there. The Treaty of Verona. In 1948, now guys, follow me. I'm going to make a little jump now because I'm going to go backwards in time here for a second, okay? All this pomp and ceremony about President George H.W. Bush. You know his father, Prescott Bush, was a Nazi contributor and washing the money through an illegal laundering system back through Union Bank. He was a senator and he had controlling interest of Union Bank. Did you know that? And FDR said, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, you've gone a little too far. We got to take you out of the game for World War II. Don't worry. You can have your bank back at the end of World War II. And he got it back. Yeah. Prescott Bush. George H.W. Bush's daddy. Oh, and of course, George H.W. Bush got shot down over the Atlantic Ocean, or one of the oceans, right, with 2 other planes, and they all parachuted out, and he parachuted out, but of course nobody else made it. They all died parachuting out to the ocean, but George H.W. Bush parachuted out to the ocean, and within 48 hours, just magically, just by pure luck, of course, they didn't have all the technology they have today to find things, but no satellites or anything like that, or beeping things, but by pure luck, through the massive oceans of God's blue-green earth, a United States submarine just popped up just off his bow, just a few hundred feet from him after floating in the water for 48 hours, and the other guys are dead, right? And picked him up, and now he's a hero. George H.W. Bush, the youngest Navy pilot in World War II. Really? Makes my eyes cringe. Oh, Lord. Okay, now, remember I talked to you about the fact that in this article that was just printed up today on the Facebook, posted up, that let me see here. That George H.W. Bush was born into an exceptional, privileged, wealthy, and influential family, and was undoubtedly the patriarch of the modern Bush political dynasty. Remember I talked about that? And then I said the Bushes are the epitome of old money in America. Their wealth stretches back generations, and they are rich beyond amorous, but never flashy. And remember I said the monarchs who signed the Treaty of Verona in 1822, who signed this treaty, were ultimately deposed. And most of these families are very wealthy and may be more powerful today than when they sat upon their thrones. And they are known collectively as the black nobility. Privately, these families refuse to recognize any right to rule except their own. The fact that this treaty was made long ago doesn't make it void. It was put in our congressional record on April 25th, 1916 by Senator Owen. And the Bushes are the epitome of old money. In 1948, George H.W. Bush graduated from Yale University in Skull and Bones. Are you ready for what I'm about to drop on you? You watch the whole funeral progression and all the people saying, "Oh, George H.W. Bush. Oh, George H.W. Bush. Oh, Bush, he was so great. Oh, Bush. Oh, Bush. Bush, 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 push, push in the bush." That reminds me of that song. He is a distant cousin, or was, of the Queen of England. He's a cousin of the Queen of England. He was a cousin, a peer cousin, because they're about the same age. She's just still living, of the Queen of England. Part of the black nobility, which traces its power back 5,000 years. 5,000 years. The Bush family can trace their power back 5,000 years. Not 500. So when he stands up there and says, "We have to start a new world order," an order where savagery and terrorism are not part of it, an order where people will be happy. What is he talking about? Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands created a group that is well known and has become the Bilderbergs. Many conservative researchers have come to recognize the Bilderbergs as an important force for the new world order. Did you know that Bush and Clinton and Obama all attend the Bilderberg meeting once every year, somewhere in the world, usually in France? Trump never attended that. He was never asked. You know, all those people are part of the CFR. Trump is not. The Bilderbergs are as important force for the New World Order. Warren Buffett's a Bilderberg. Donald Trump is not. Gates is a Bilderberg. Donald Trump is not. Rockefeller is a Bilderberg. Donald Trump is not. Queen of England's a Bilderberg. Donald Trump is not. The Clintons are Bilderbergs. Donald Trump is not. Obama's a Bilderberg. Donald Trump is not. The Bilderbergs, an important force for the New World Order. According to former British intelligence agent Dr. John Coleman, the three world power groups, the Wicca Masons, or communism. Now, I am a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Master Mason for 30 years. Yeah. And I'm damn proud of it. I fly it. You see that right there? That's the double, that's the eagles and the triangle. Yes. That's me, Jesse T. I'm a Mason. See another little picture I have here, which is interesting. Right. And I'm proud of it. See that? There it is. I don't care whether you like it or not. I am. Which led me to want to study this stuff, Jeff Langton. My grandfather was a Master Mason. He was a Scottish Rite 32nd degree Master Mason, and he was a Yorkshire Master Mason, a Commandant. And he was also a Shriner. I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Master Mason out of the San Fernando 343 Lodge. Okay? But we're not communisms. We're not communists. According to former British intelligence agent Dr. John Coleman, the three world power groups, the Wicca Masons, or communism, the Maltese Jesuits, probably the most evil entity out of the Vatican or anywhere on the planet Earth, and the black nobility, in the context refers to their character, not their skin, like I said, all work for and under the central command of the Bavarian Illuminati, which binds them together. The German Bavarian Illuminati. Gee whiz! Wasn't Hitler Bavarian? Huh! How could that have possibly happened? Oh my God. Got the double pythons here, baby. The double pythons are working. Yeah! That's right. Look at that. Man, I'm getting in shape. Sorry. Got a little sidetracked. Oh, you didn't know that Hitler was a Catholic, did you? He was never excommunicated from the Catholic Church for all the atrocities he did. They never did. They never said, bye-bye, Hitler, baby. You're a bad boy. No. They were quiet because the Catholic Church is not run by the white Pope that we see. It's run by the dark Pope and the Jesuits, the Vatican. Oh, you didn't know that in the early part of the 18th century, the 1700s, that they made an evil contract with the Jewish gangster Rothschilds to run the Vatican Bank. Oh, and we found out earlier when I just talked to you that all that money went over to England and the Bank of England. And guess who runs the Bank of England? The Rothschilds. Even today, that's the King's Bank and the Queen's Bank. Saying hi to Catherine Pacino. Love you, baby. Since the Bilderbergs, according to the former British intelligence agent John Coleman, served as a binding group, a force between the three major one world government forces, the Wicca Masons, who are communism, the black nobility descendants of the early Roman empires, Bush, and the Maltese Jesuits, the Dark Pope and the Jesuits, each of which have 13 respective representatives in the 39-member Bilderberg board. And since a Nazi SS stormtrooper was responsible for developing the New World Order, coordination and council, and since Adolf Hitler's second book was titled, believe it or not, The New World Order. You didn't know Hitler wrote another book other than Mein Kampf, did you? You know why? Because they don't want you to know about another book than Mein Kampf. They don't want you to know this. Even historians don't talk about this. Why? Because they don't want you to know that Hitler was the one that developed and was in charge of coordinating the council of the original Bilderbergs. And he wrote a book titled The New World Order. Oh my goodness! He was a Bavarian. Bush! We have to have a new world order. What the hell has happened to America since that speech? Right, because we just learned that they have a goal in mind: destroying free speech, destroying and suppressing the press, universal censorship, sustaining the cooperation of the Pope and the clergy to use religion to help keep nations in passive obedience, and financing wars against countries with representative governments. What do you think America is? It's a representative government. You and I make the government. They don't like us. They got to get rid of us. And so I've said all along, they're destroying the American middle class. And people, if you understood what I said and you did a little homework, or you listened to me, Jesse T, you'll get it nice and clear, because that's their target. You destroy America's middle class. You erode it without them even knowing it's happening. It's like a cancer growing in your toe that spreads through your whole body. And then you get the news from your doctor that if you stage 4 cancer, you're dead inside 6 weeks. They're destroying the American middle class one bit at a time. And thank God for Donald Trump, because he's the only one. He's not a Bilderberg. He's not part of the New World Order. He is not, and that's why they hate him so much. The Republicans, the Democracies, everybody, every corporation, every bank, every insurance company hate him so much, and they've perverted you to hate him because they have to. No wonder Adolf Hitler's dream, and that of his predecessors, the czars, the Kaisers, a German translation of Caesar. That's why he felt it was a revival of the Roman Empire, you see. According to former British intelligence agent Dr. John Coleman, the three world powers control the world. The Wicca Masons, the Maltese Jesuits, and the black nobility, otherwise known as the Bilderberg, commanded by the Bavarian Illuminati that binds them together. The Bavarians created the Bilderberg Society for this purpose, to core of which is a council of 13 members in each of the three groups, or in all 39. That's why there's only 39. That's why that crazy lunatic Alex Jones that you think is crazy, when he infiltrated the Bilderbergs, they tossed him out. When he infiltrated the Bohemian Society, the Owl Society, they tossed him out. In the old line rule of families who believe that they have the right to rule the world because they are descended from the emperors of ancient Rome, and so-called Holy Roman empires consist of 13 to 15 blue blood families. You ready? The Rothschilds, Kuhn, Loeb, Lehman, Rockefeller, Sachs, Warburg, Lazard, Safe, Goldman, Schiff, Morgan, Schroeder, Bush, Harriman. Others have come and gone that have not been mentioned are more powerful than others. But these names will get you started, my friends, if you want to do some homework on that, the history of the Bilderberg Group itself. Two giant insurance companies on the committee of 300 members. The black nobility of Europe and Venice who trace their lineage to Emperor Justinian. The Giustiniani family. Someone you don't even know. Yeah. Sir Jocelyn Hambro of the Hambros Merchant Bank. Pier Paolo Luziato Firenze, whose lineage dates back 6 centuries to the most ancient Lusatos, the black nobility of Venice, the Venetians. Umberto Oritaliane of the ancient black nobility family of the same name. Other Venetian black nobility, the Committee of 300. The Doria family, the financiers of the Spanish Habsburgs. Ile de Rothschild of the financial French family, the Jewish Frenchman. Baron Ergest von Frick, the second richest man in Germany. He's now deceased. Franco Orsiano Boscani of the ancient Orsiano black nobility Venetians that trace its lineage to ancient Roman senator of the same name. The Alba family, whose lineage dates back to the great Duke of Alba, Baron Pierre Lambert, a cousin of the Belgian Rothschild family. Italy was chosen as a test target for the Committee of 300. Now, we learned something today. You want to find this out for yourself? Go to this website. Okay, you ready? I'll tell you. www.Bibliotepleyades.net. I'll give it to you again. Bibliotepleyades.net. That will just be the beginning. I've been reading about this stuff for 20 years. Thousands of pages are in my brain. It is such an illusion and a matrix that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. We live in such deception and deceit. And that's what I liked about Donald Trump. People don't understand why I like him, especially in Southern California, in the world of left-wing lunatics. They don't understand what I like about him. What I like about him is he's not a Bilderberg. He's a New York gangster. That's what he is. His father was a gangster who did deals with everybody to become worth $200 or $300 million. He's a gangster. And he maneuvers in gangster terminology. And they don't know how to deal with this outsider. He's not a professional politician. He's not paid for and bought by these people, you see, like the rest of our government is, both sides. I don't care whether you're communist, socialist, Democrat, Republican, capitalist, it doesn't matter. He is not that. But he's studied politics for 40 years. That's what I liked about him. He turns away from the Argentinian cat, walks off stage. Hoorah! I can go down the list of his accomplishments. New York gangster style. He's my New York gangster. And I like him. Because he's a gangster. And it takes a gangster to beat these other families. The Bilderberg families. These are like mafioso families. and it takes his gangster family. And I bet you as God is my witness, the Almighty, his dad has a black book, and he now has the black book on everybody in politics. I bet you he has a little black book, and he's got his own black book, and they're hidden away all around the world. Yeah. They're never going to hurt him. You know why? He'll just divulge and open up his black book, and he can tell secrets and disgusting things about every single politician that's made it anywhere in this country. You know why? Because you don't become a politician of any power, strength, control, or nature unless you are a criminal. You are a corrupt, lying, rat bastard. That is part of being a politician. You're two-faced, snivelly crying, wimpy, pussy rat bastard. All you politicians are. Every single one of you ain't got no balls or hair on your chest. You're just a bunch of bend-over boys getting it from Bubba in the state pen. That's what you politicians are. Hear me loud, hear me clear. Off with your heads and burn you to the stake, because politicians are that. They're the design of politician. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. This is why I did not run anymore. I was running for CD7 in the Los Angeles City Council membership at almost $200,000 a year. And why I didn't do it? Because I can't play that game. I'll stand up in this horseshoe circle of Los Angeles City Council member and Los Angeles City Hall, and I'll point fingers when I find out the dirt and the muck on you. I'd either be shot, killed by some MS-13 paid-off gang member, or I would have been living in stress and would have got nothing done for my constituents, because you got to have 3 plus 1 to get something to the floor for anybody to actually vote on in Los Angeles politics. I'm telling you guys. Telling you guys. These guys are politicians, and Donald Trump is not. But you're not going to get it. All you haters are just going to hate him because of the news. All you guys are being coerced, perversely brainwashed, just like I was the other night when I crashed my car. Because they did not, those guys, how dare they not keep the road going? I mean, really? You can't keep the road going for Jesse T? I mean, I'm just trying to take care of a little business. I'm just trying to learn a little bit of that love language, baby. That love language. That's right, I'm just taking care of some business. I just want some love language. I want to learn a little bit of that love language last night. Because, you know, I got to, right? So really, all I wanted to do was just take care of a little business while I was driving my car. But they got me hypnotized, right? Are you ready? Air guitar. Work by 9 and start to sleep and talk and get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, you can be self-employed. I love to let it out. Everybody! Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business. Taking care of business and working overtime. Boom, boom. Brown Beauty is always on duty. It's the Jesse T Show. Monday through Friday right here on Facebook.com/Jesse Torero, YouTube and Twitter. Overtime. Hey, later on this week, we got Tom Sizemore checking in on the Jesse T Show, and we want you to be a part of it. That's Wednesday right here in Southern California, on there and everywhere from the community to the world. It's the Jesse T Show. You have a good one. I'll see you later. I'm going to go pump some iron now that you learned a little bit about the Bush family. Do you really still love them?